Hey, hey, whoa, good morning. It's Mark here. Another morning rant. Time on deck is 6:30. Yeah. Um, Excuse me. We all know what today is. September 11th, 2021. This is the 20th anniversary of September 11th, 2001. A solemn day that shouldn't be forgotten. It was when America was, I want to say, America was not too concerned, or America has never really been concerned about anyone attacking the homeland, so to speak. I mean, yes, we had Pearl Harbor, but we've prided ourselves in being secured by the Atlantic Ocean and the Pacific Ocean. We can detect any issue that's going to happen between those two oceans. So no one suspected, or no average American suspected, that America would be attacked like that. And it was a shock. And one of the things that I've learned, one of the things that's happened over the past 20 years is most people would say, well, where were you on 9/11? Where were you? I remember the day as if it was yesterday, or, so let me just break down where I was on September 11th. So picture it. Okinawa, Japan, 2001. All right. I had joined the Marine Corps in 2000, June 13th, 2000. Graduated high school May 22nd. I was on the yellow footprints with my best friend June 13th of 2000. Went through boot camp, graduated in September 2000, came home for 2 weeks, went off to Marine Corps training. Right from Marine Corps training, Marine combat training. Right from there, I went to my MOS school. Okay. Military Occupational Specialty in Fort Eustis, Virginia. During that process, in the class, we had, at the time, we had Gunnery Sergeant Villanueva, Gunnery Sergeant Smith, and Gunnery Sergeant McGriff. Gunnery Sergeant McGriff, he was going to tell us where we were going to go, and we had to pass the test. If you pass this test, I will tell you guys your first duty station. And they gave us a wish list. All we had to do was choose East Coast, West Coast, overseas. That's it. So I said West Coast, overseas. I did not want to go on the East. I didn't want to stay in the South. I wanted to get out and do what the commercial said. I want to enjoy the world, see the world. Little did we know that wish list didn't mean a damn thing. They were going to send us where they want to send us anyway. We had 2 guys in our class that were reservists from Puerto Rico. So, of course, they went back to Puerto Rico. We had one reservist that was from, I cannot remember that kid's name, but he was in the States and he went back to his home area because reservists can't leave the country or whatever like that. Majority of us in my class went to, what do you say? He said Camp Smelly D. Butler, Okinawa, Japan. So that's where we were. So I got there in January of 2001. I got promoted to Lance Corporal in March of 2001. And I had just gone on, I was a PFC. Let me show. Okay, people. First of all, I want to apologize to these 2 brothers. I can't pixelate your faces. So please don't get mad at me for this. But this is a photo of me and my two friends in MOS school. This is our first Marine Corps ball, and we didn't have our dress blue uniforms. We couldn't afford to buy them, and it was an Army base, so we just went in our alphas. That handsome brother in the middle is it's me. Salute to these other two brothers, but that was Fort Eustis in November of 2000. This is me and one of those guys in the summer of 2001. Wait, okay. Forgive me, brother. Hey, I haven't seen him in over 20 years. I apologize. Forgive me. Still love you, brother. If you see this, holler at me. This is us in Japan in 2001. We were at like a field meet that day. That's why we don't have on our blouses. But that's Okinawa, Japan, 2001. That was the summer of 2001. I think I got another picture here. I want to show you my dress blue Marine Corps ball photo, but I'm not going to do that. I will show you this. This is me out in town in Okinawa, Japan, 2001. I had a friend who was she was a combat camera specialist, and she wanted to go out and test a new camera. So she asked me to go out in town and take some pictures. So this is one of those photos. Oh, wait a minute. And I'm going to show you another one that I really, really like. That's me. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah. So we took that photo. This is out in town in Japan in 2001. This is, I want to say this is after, I want to say this photo was taken after September 11th. But so what had happened was we were in the barracks for like a week. Give me a second here. Let's see if I can go back to 2001 on this calendar here. September 11th happened on a Tuesday. We were in the barracks for like a week, okay, because we had a typhoon came. A typhoon is a hurricane. So a typhoon had hit the base, or hit Okinawa. And because of that, we were all stuck in the barracks. Ni Ichi Nana. I'll never forget that. Ni Ichi Nana. Ni 2, Ichi 1, Nana 7. 217. We were in barracks, 217. And hurricane hit, so we were in the barracks. And I was a young Marine, and there were other Marines that were around me that were more seasoned. And what they were doing is we were eating and cooking, and people had food, and it was like this big party because we didn't have to go to work. We stuck in the barracks. We just look at it like it's just rain. You know, we don't care. So we just relaxing and enjoying ourselves. Well, by day 3 or 4, it started to get serious. It was becoming Walking Dead-ish. All the food was disappearing and drying up. The snack machine was bare. I mean, even, you know how when you have snack machines that have all this other stuff that nobody ever touches, even that stuff was gone. I mean, the sodas that don't nobody ever buy, that stuff was gone. It was like, it was becoming dire in the barracks. And they were talking about bringing us MREs to eat in the barracks. I remember, this is what I did. Here's a side story. I had an Okinawan girlfriend, right? And she lived out in town. So I ain't have no food, and I did not want to eat an MRE. So I went over to another friend's room, and I knocked on his door. I said, "Bro, let me use your phone, man. I'm trying to call so-and-so to see if she'll bring me something to eat." Now, she can't get on base. So, but our barracks is right by the gate. So I called her. I said, "Hey, get me a double cheeseburger, large fry, large soda, apple pie, hook it up." And I got my friend, I had her buy 2 meals. So he's like, "Bro, how you gonna get this food?" You go distract the duty. We had a duty on. We had a security guard on duty, or one of the Marines from the barracks. He was on duty. You go distract the duty. I'm gonna leave out the back door. I'm gonna go to the gate, and she gonna throw the food over. So, and it wasn't the typhoon had settled down. It was still raining, but it wasn't bad. So it's not like I'm putting this girl in danger. So she came to the gate. There was like a small hole in the gate. So she gave me the food. She took off. I took off. And we went inside the room. We ran upstairs. We went inside the room. We just eating. It's like, oh man, it's some good food, man. We just eating, chilling, and laughing. And then all of a sudden we could hear knocks on the door, right? Hey man, hey, I smell McDonald's in there, man. What y'all doing? So we just like, shh, don't say. So me and this other Marine, we just ate this McDonald's. We kept quiet. We didn't say nothing. It's like, hey man, what y'all doing in there? Come on, man, open the door. So anyway. So now it's getting real bad. It's getting real bad. And I think they started to bring in MREs. And right when they started to bring in MREs, that's when we got the all clear. And what they do in Japan, I don't know if they still do it now, but what they did in Okinawa is if the sound goes out, that we got to go home. Like, it's bad out there, the weather's bad, you guys got to go home. They give you 2 hours before they close the gates. So if you live out in town, you got 2 hours to get off the base, because they're going to close the gates and no guard's going to be there. So you're just stuck on base. So, and same thing in reverse. Once they give the all clear to return to work, you got 2 hours. They're going to open the gates. You got 2 hours to get to work. So when we got the all clear to return, I think this is September 12th, because we're a day ahead. Something like that, because it was September 11th back in the States. And we got the all clear to go back to work. And so I'm a young Marine, and I'm like, well, what do we do? And it's like, man, I ain't going nowhere until, I'm going to sit and chill for like an hour and a half. It's like, why? It's like, man, we got 2 hours to be to work. It takes 5 minutes to walk there. So, so I'm like, all right, I'm going to chill with y'all then. So we sat around doing nothing. Right when it was about an hour, 15 minutes, it was like, all right, I'm going to start getting dressed so we can go and go to work, because we got to report in. And someone was like, hey man, quick, y'all turn on the TV. Something's going on in New York. So it's like, what? So we turn on the news, and even though some of the stuff is recorded, we can still get live shows. And this was September 12th in the afternoon, but we still had to go to work. It was like 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon, but we still had to report to work for just accountability. We weren't going to be there long. So it was early morning in New York, September 11th. So this was a Tuesday. Oh, no, a Wednesday. September 11th was a Tuesday. So we turn on the TV, and the AFN, Air Forces Network, they're showing the first tower smoking, And it was like, oh, man, what's going on? And most people are like, well, it's a movie that went bad, or it's an airline pilot that was disoriented and he crashed into the world. We thought all kind of things. Nobody thought terrorism. Nobody thought Islamic extremists attacking the towers. We thought that it was a movie going bad. We thought that it was maybe an airline pilot that lost his way or got disoriented and hit one of the towers. And we were just like, what the hell? Whoa. And while we were watching the news, and, we're still getting dressed, but we're watching the news and talking about it, I saw that second plane live, hit that second tower. And we was like, that's it. Everybody just looked at each other like that, like what, so all I can remember is saying is, yep, we going to war. Yep, we going to war. We don't know what's going on, but I know one thing: we about to go to war. Because this ain't normal. What just happened there wasn't normal. Another plane just hit it, and it looked deliberate. So once that second tower hit, that's when phones started ringing. And back then, cell phones were not primitive, but it was what was it? In order for you to have a cell phone back in 2001, it was a special thing. Like, not everybody had a cell phone. Most of us had phones in our rooms because we used dial-up. to get to the internet. So you had to have a cell phone, or you had to have a phone line. So everybody's phones in their room started ringing, and maybe one or two guys that had a cell phone, their cell phone started ringing, and it was like, hey, we guys are on the national alert. You guys need to stand by in the barracks, and we'll tell y'all what's going on next. So that's when we were like, yep, we going to war. Something ain't right. This ain't right. Something ain't right. And from that point, my whole life changed. My whole career path changed. Everything changed. Okinawa Camp Foster that I was on went on a lockdown. They had all these different barriers at the gates. They started scanning cars. One of the guys that's in the photos that I showed you, they put him on security detail. So they took if they took essential personnel. If you were essential personnel, you stayed in the office, or you did your primary job. But those people they didn't consider necessarily essential, they put them on security detail. And it was a lot of Marines on security detail. And thank God for me, because they moved those guys out of their barracks, and put them in an empty barracks, and that was the security detail barracks. So I was like, well, thank God that I'm considered essential. I had a corporal and two lance corporals that trained me. Forgive me, I'm gonna say your names, but forgive me. It was Lance Corporal Wade, Lance Corporal Meisenheimer, and Corporal, God dang it, I got the brother's name. I got the brother's face in my head. I've met this brother multiple times throughout my career. He was a contractor. He got out the Marine Corps. He was a contractor for the Marine Corps, and I think he's still being a contractor. He's an awesome brother. He taught me a lot, but I cannot remember his name right now. But he was my NCO. And these three guys trained me, and when they left Okinawa, I took over. So as a Lance Corporal, as an E3, I'm in charge of my little inbound section. It wasn't a big section. I'm in charge of my section, so they consider me essential. Me and Mr. Reimer. Salute to Mr. Reimer, Terry Reimer. Awesome man. Old guy, but he was awesome. He taught me a lot too. So I was considered essential personnel, so I stayed in my job, and everything changed. Everything changed. So that's my little story on where I was September 11th or September 12th, 2001, and my whole 16 years in the Marine Corps was defined by war. 16 years in the Marine Corps, and I can give you that little quick soliloquy too. I did 16 years in the Marine Corps. I joined in 2000. I retired in 2016. As a matter of fact, I had my retirement ceremony, little small ceremony. I had my retirement ceremony on June 13th. The same day I enlisted in the Marine Corps, so I thought that was pretty special. I got a picture of that. Me and my kids and my wife. Let me see if I can find it. But I did not deploy to Afghanistan. Now that's another story in itself. I could have swore I had a photo up here of my family at my retirement. And I'm on Facebook, people, so just give me a second. I'm trying to find some photos. Marine Corps ball. More, okay. I don't see it. I got the family trip to Washington D.C. and I can do a video on that too. I thought it'd be in his my Marine Corps birthday pics, Marine Corps pics, but it's not in there. But anyway, so I did not get to deploy to Afghanistan, and it's not from a lack of trying. I knew, being a child of history, and forgive me, I'm still trying to look for this name. I knew, being a child of history, that being in a war is going to be beneficial to you, whether you lived or died. And I didn't want to be one of those guys that were like, well, where were you on September 11th? And where were you doing this fighting? Did you not serve in the military? Did you not deploy? Did you not do this? Did you not do that? Excuse me. I knew that was going to happen. So And and look, I don't know. I'm a young kid. I don't know. From that point, I wanted to go to Afghanistan. Even when it shifted, even when we went from Afghanistan to Iraq, I'm like, what the hell? I still wanted to deploy. So I PCS'd, I permanent change of station. I moved from Okinawa. I did 2 years there. I moved from Okinawa and I got orders to New Orleans. And when I got to New Orleans, my best friend called me from over there. He was over there. And I was like, well, hey. And I wanted to go. Not necessarily for him, but I wanted to be there. I wanted to experience combat. I wanted to go. And it's not like, yes, I was scared, but I wanted to go. And my leaders were like, no, you just got here, because they had individual augmentations. They had IA units that would, hey, we need 2 corporals, whatever, to go do this. So I would always try to volunteer for that. But I had just got to New Orleans and it was like, no, you ain't going nowhere because we need you here. So that was my first time trying. I tried again when I got stationed in Virginia, and I kept trying to get on these volunteer deployments, but I could never go because I was always the new guy taking over for someone else. Well, I pick up Staff Sergeant, I pick up E6, and I go to Camp Pendleton. And they were going to send me back to Okinawa, but he said, hey, have you deployed yet? And I was like, no, sir. Well, you got 2 choices, Camp Lejeune or Camp Pendleton. I chose Camp Pendleton. Let's go to California. So by now, I'm married. I got kids. We moved to California, and I got a deployment. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm going on a deployment. But no, I'm not going on a deployment to Afghanistan. I'm going on a military expeditionary unit, CLB 13, Combat Logistics Battalion 13. Shout out to them. So I deployed with the CLB 13, the 13th MU in 2009. When I got back, they told me I was going to go to Afghanistan, but then they moved me down to Marine Corps Air Station Miramar. And then right after I got them orders, I went back to Camp Pendleton because I deployed again with the 13th MU. And so I deployed 2 times in 3 years at that time. And that second year was mostly training for a year. And then 3 months after getting back from that second deployment, I went to Kuwait. So in 4 years, I deployed 3 times, and they were all in support of, but it was never in. Now I did get to go to Afghanistan, but it was only like a day. It was like a transit flight. So, so I'm not the guy that had steel rain coming at me. I'm not the guy that was kicking down doors. I did not deploy to Afghanistan. I did serve my country. I did serve my country in a support capacity, and I'm proud of my career. Don't knock it. I give a lot of praise and a lot of respect to those guys that did serve, lost their lives, lost their limbs, lost their loved ones, lost their cognitive abilities. I give a lot of respect to those people, and that's what my 16 years was defined by. And now here it is, 20 years later. I'm a lot older. I joined the Marine Corps at 19. I retired at 35-ish, 36, somewhere up in there. And here I am now. I got 6 children, my wife, 2 kids graduated. 1 is in college. 1 is on his way. My twins, they're 14. They're in middle school. I got a 12-year-old, he's in middle school, and I got a 6-year-old, he's in 1st grade. So in 20 years, all this happened. In 20 years, I went from that scrawny kid with those glasses and the bald head to this guy right now with these big glasses and this gray hair and a love for Batman and history. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So, hey, where were you September 11th, 2001? And let's commemorate those people that died innocently for this country, or in representation of this country, because the reason why those buildings were attacked is because they were the financial hub, considered the financial hub of America. So we're going to attack the financial hub and And don't forget Shanksville, Pennsylvania, and the Pentagon, things like that. So let's not forget what happened. Let's honor those who've passed away. Let's honor those who was injured in service of this country. And despite the politics of it, excuse me, let's try and take today and just be happy that in spite of me going through, just me personally, in spite of me going through 16 years of war and Hurricane Katrina, because my wife and I, we were down there, Hurricane Katrina, and dealing with deployments while my wife is pregnant and going through all these different changes, and my wife being there for me while I finish my education and things like that. A lot has happened. So just be grateful that and of course COVID, let's just be grateful that we're still here. Let me give you guys another photo real quick. If you stayed this long, I appreciate it. This is my wife and I at my son's graduation. We drove back up to Virginia to, North Carolina. I'm sorry. We drove back up to North Carolina for him to graduate. And this is my baby right here and his teacher. He graduated kindergarten. So that's his graduation. Let's see. This is his photo right here. His graduation photo. My baby graduated kindergarten, and now he's in the first grade. So, I'm trying to see if I can find that. I'm not going to be able to find it. Oh, here's another photo of our first son. He graduated high school in 2020, and his brother graduated in 2021. So. And this is my 12-year-old. This is him at 6. So, and let me show you the picture of all of them now. Yeah, they tower over me now. So, let me get up out of here because somebody is making cereal right now. So I'm going to see y'all later. All right. Take care. I'm out.